Well, here we are. Here this is the presence of experience. Feels like as good a way to describe it as any, the presence of experience. Here it is. Here it always is, right? It's funny. It's like it's always the same starting point, isn't it? We come together to explore reality, explore the nature of this, and the starting point is always the presence of experience. There isn't anything else, right? To feel. There isn't anything else to investigate. There isn't anything else to inquire into. There isn't anything else to see or to know or to realize. It's always what's here. This is what's here to notice. And interestingly enough, is exactly what's being noticed is the presence of experience right now. And this presence of experience that's here is full beyond measure in the sense that it's endlessly full. It's immeasurably full. Full of what? Well, there's no answer to that question. It's hmm, full of this incredible uh, aliveness and vitality and um, this flow, right, of experiencing. It's always full of that, isn't it? Experience is full of itself, we could say. Presence is full of presence, the presence of this. And notice as you just feel and appreciate the fullness of this presence of experiencing that it's full regardless of what you're doing or not doing, regardless of noticing the fullness or not noticing the fullness. It's the fullness is simply what is. Fullness of reality that's all encompassing, omnipresent, inclusive of everything. There's nothing outside of this fullness of experiencing, is there? Do you feel that? Can't ever get out of the fullness of experiencing. You'll always find the fullness of experiencing. That's what I mean by it doesn't matter what we're doing or not doing. It doesn't matter what's arising or not arising or what's being done or not done, what the particular flavors are that are occurring, our particular circumstances or situations, which could be relatively easeful or potentially quite challenging in a human sense. The fullness of experience is the fullness of experience, period. It's a fullness that doesn't depend upon us making it full somehow, filling it up, filling the cup up somehow that we imagine might be empty of X, Y, or Z, right? Isn't this often our sense that fuels the search of like there's something missing and we want to fill that cup up with what we imagine to be missing? And of course, we can, in a human sense, we can feel and experience a sense of missing something. We lose health and we may feel as if we're missing health. We don't have food, we'll feel as if we're missing food. We don't sleep well, we're missing out on sleep. Um, we lose an important person and we feel ourselves missing that person. So yes, that's part of the human dance for sure. But in the case of this absolute reality of being, of the presence of experience, it's never lacking. It's never missing anything. In fact, even the experience in the human sense of missing, of some lack, of something not quite right, of something out of sorts, is the fullness of life itself appearing manifesting, being that moment, that particular flavor of that human flavor that we all know, that we're all familiar with. That's the radical inclusivity of this presence, of this being, which is that it is everything. That's its fullness. It's complete, all-encompassing, absolute nature. And it is what we are. We're not just sitting here noticing it as something somehow other than us. We are made of that fullness of experiencing the fullness of life, overflowing. It's both our personal existence, your being, the being of you, the individual, but amazingly that your being is the being of reality itself, right? It's not two. There's no division. Your being is the being of reality, the being of the absolute, being that is everything, this fullness. Here's this fullness that we could call the presence of experience, as I said. And this presence of experience is encountering, whatever is knowing this moment or seeing this moment or perceiving this moment is the fullness of experience, right? So this fullness is engaged with itself. It is, we could say, exploring itself, encountering itself, right? There's just one thing here, this presence of experiencing. But it's got that quality of engagement, of I don't know, it's a good word somehow. And one way to, I think, understand that engagement, or one way to talk about it is that it's the moment is being, this presence of experiencing is being known, isn't it? Effortlessly, because here it is. That's that engagement. It's here. The here-ness of it is the engagement of reality with itself, touching itself, tasting itself, knowing itself, perceiving itself, and exploring itself. We are the vast infinite reality right now, looking at itself, appreciating. It's like presence appreciating presence, isn't it? Experience appreciating experience. Being appreciating being. It's like a dance with itself, engagement with itself. But that's here spontaneously, that self-engagement. The engagement of reality with itself looked, let's say, different before you hopped on the Zoom call, maybe than you might characterize it looking now. I was engaged in various things, writing some stuff, reading some stuff, eating some food, reflecting on the meeting that was upcoming, texting a friend, all the different ways the engagement can look, but all of it was reality. We could parse it in all these different ways that we talk about the complexities of life, which is fine. But all of it is fundamentally what? Fundamentally life. That fullness of life, appearing in all the ways that it can appear. And again, not depending upon how it appears, not depending upon what we seem to be doing about it or not. Like, here it is. Like, isn't it here whether you're explicitly noticing it or not? In that sense, the noticing of reality, the noticing of this presence of experiencing is really coming to see that there's only noticing. You could use that as the one word to capture this mystery, noticing. But that's all there is noticing, seeing, knowing. Again, these are all synonyms, really, right? Reality is always being registered as that particular moment of whatever's appearing. That's the registering of it. That is the noticing of it. Not because I'm trying to notice it, I'm trying to pay attention. The attention, this is a kind of attention that's woven into the fabric of experience itself, isn't it? Can you feel how you're not creating the noticing? It's simply woven into experiencing itself. That the noticing woven into experience itself, you could say the awareness, if you want to use that word. It's the consciousness woven into experience itself, is it's inseparable from experience, is the proof of that is here is the moment. It's here, and its being here is its appearance, and its appearance is its being noticed, right? You see? It's not like, oh, something appears and then I notice it. No, the moment that appears is the noticing of it. You see? Effortless. You could call what's here the flow of experiencing it. You could call what's here the flow of consciousness. Same thing. Knowing and being, the same thing. Two words for the same reality, maybe two sides of the coin of reality, knowing and being. Sat and chit in the Sanskrit. And there's something inherently enjoyable about noticing that explicitly, isn't there? Like you're touching something profound when you appreciate this intrinsic being and knowing at the center of each moment, at the basis of everything. The thread, in a sense, that ties all of this seeming difference and distinction together. The thread of knowing and being, pervading everything, the basis of everything. It's the isness, as I've said before. It's just here, spontaneously. And the isness of you, the being of you, is the being of reality, as I said. It's one being. The presence of all of you is the presence of being. I feel it as the presence of life. And it's inseparable from the presence of what I might think of as my life. It's just one presence. It's not, I'm not feeling two presences. I'm feeling one presence of life, right? That looks like and can be experienced as distinct, right? Separate entities as we can perceive one another. Very paradoxical. One being experienced as a multiplicity, isn't it? Can be experienced both ways. We can experience the world as divided into parts and pieces, objects and things. And we can look again and see this other perspective of there's no things here. There's just a seamless whole of experiencing, a seamless whole of being, of presence, of pure, boundless mystery that everything is.